Make your reservations for a parade of international, national, and local artists in the main stage showroom, the intimate Dunsmore Jazz Room, or outdoors at the seasonal Belvedere Under the Stars space. Or enjoy Maggie's Piano Lounge. Enjoy 4-star food and drinks with first-class supper club service. What are you waiting for? Go to croonersmn.com for more information and schedule. That's croonersmn.com.
I was born and raised in Ward 12. I played ball at Hiawatha Park, saw movies at the Riverview Theater, and biked around Lake Nokomis. This city shaped me, and now I want to fight for it. I'm Becca Thompson, and I'm running for the city council to make Minneapolis a place where every kid can grow up feeling safe, supported, and heard. Join me on April 8th and caucus for our future. Learn more at voteforbecca.com. That's vote, the number 4, BECKA.com.
Prepared and paid for by Friends of Becca Thompson 2025. With your AM 950 weather, I'm Brett Johnson. Look for rain and sleet throughout today with a high near 40. Tonight, rain and snow with a low around 33. And Wednesday, rain with a high around 49. Experience a great atmosphere with great music at Crooner's Supper Club. Explore the shows at croonersmn.com. Stop by Maggie's Lounge before or after your show for cocktails and light fare. Open Wednesdays through Sundays at 4:30. No tickets needed. Again, that's Maggie's Lounge at Crooner's Supper Club. Portions of the following program may be pre-recorded.
Broadcasting live from the studios of AM 950 KTNF, the progressive voice of Minnesota, and streaming live right now on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/@TheGailey Show. Welcome to The Gailey Show. I am your host, John Parker, executive producer, Jim Pounds. Hello.
Hello, John.
And in the control room today, Patrick Lilia. Hey, Patrick.
Good afternoon.
It's going to be like wintry again, apparently.
It's snowing or sleeting outside right now.
Is it really?
Just to perk you up.
I've been in the studio for a couple hours now, and I didn't need to know that, actually. Our call-in number, 952-946-6205, 952-946-6205, or you can chat with us on our YouTube live stream. What is on the show today? Nebraska LGBTQ advocates are getting ready for the Classy-Tacky Ball. The Sundance Film Festival, we didn't get to this last week, but I want to talk about it today. The Sundance Film Festival announces they are a wrap on Utah, the same week that Utah banned the display of pride flags. Plus, we've got to talk about Pennsylvania Senator John Fetterman. He said some things, and I want to talk about it. It's Election Day in Wisconsin, and I'm going to get to that in a second, but Senator Cory Booker, it looks like he is still going on his speech right now.
Hour 20.
I believe he's an hour 20.
Yep.
I'm looking at the C-SPAN feed right now, and I see Senator Blumenthal is talking, which would suggest that he's done. Senator Booker, I hope he isn't. Or maybe they just switched feeds.
Well, let's talk about what it is he's doing. It's the kind of leadership you've talked about. Where's the leadership from the Democratic Party? Yeah. So here's at least a demonstration of passion and indignant thought to what's being done to our country.
Well, I was taking some notes on things that he was saying,
yes,
and I do want to.
Okay.
I do want to talk about it. My understanding is that senators could support him by asking questions.
Yes.
But they couldn't. They couldn't be in dialogue or do speeches or whatever. So I am a little confused by what I'm seeing here, and I can't hear what they're saying on the C-SPAN feed. But he has gone 20 hours. He started at 6 p.m. Last night, Central Standard Time, 7 p.m. Eastern. And I don't think it's I don't think it qualifies as a filibuster because it's not trying to stop legislation, but it is a speech in front of the floor. And I was curious, so I did, because I'm a nerd, I wanted to look up and see how long were the records. So the jerk from Texas, Ted Cruz, that's an editorial assessment of the senator from Texas, held the floor for 21 hours and 19 minutes to contest the Affordable Care Act.
Oh, good. Yes.
But of course, the record holder is noted white supremacist the senator from South Carolina, Strom Thurmond,
Mm.
who filibustered the passage of the Civil Rights Act of 1957 for 24 hours and 18 minutes.
Wow.
When it rolled past 19 hours, Senator Booker's speech was the 5th longest in the Senate history.
I think the correct term is the right honorable jerk from. So I think you have to put that little recognition in front of it. Yeah.
Oh God. Yeah. Okay. So it is election day, Wisconsinites.
Yep.
And if you don't have a voting plan, you can go to myvote.wi.gov. So myvote.wisconsin.gov, but WI. We've linked to it in our Blue Sky account. So you can go to bluesky@thegaleyshow.org. You can find the link there. Polls do not close until 8 p.m.
Yep.
And according to the City of Madison's website, as long as you are in line by 8 p.m., you get to vote.
Yep.
You can also register to vote at your polling location today, election day. However, if you have moved, this is something I didn't know, and again, this is per the City of Madison's website. If you have moved within the past 28 days, you can only vote from your previous address and the polling location for that address. So just for the folks, if you have recently moved within the last 4 weeks, you have to go and vote at the polling location of your previous address. Where is your polling location, you ask? Again, you can go to myvote.wi.gov, where you can not only look up where your polling location is, it's really easy. You just put in your address. If you moved within the past 4 weeks, just put in your old address. It'll show you where your polling location is, and you have 6 hours, 5 hours and 50 minutes to get to. Did I do the math there right? No.
Till 8 o'clock?
Till 8 o'clock. 6 hours till 8 o'clock, right?
5 hours and 50 minutes.
Yeah, I did the math right.
Good
Hey,
job.
There we go. I'm
Public
gay. I don't
schools.
have to do math.
No.
5 hours and 50 minutes to get to your polling location.
So
again, that information is myvote.wi.gov. If you have already voted, share that on social media to let folks know, hey, people are voting. My friend voted, or my family member voted, or, you voted, Jim. You
Gordy and
are
I
a
voted.
Wisconsin resident.
We voted. They have an odd thing with absentee. You have to request an absentee ballot and then say, oh, no, don't send me a ballot. I want to do it in person.
That's their version of early voting.
It's a weird two-step.
In Minnesota,
absentee.
we have just early vote locations, and you go and you vote in the end. But in Wisconsin, it sounds like you request an absentee ballot, and then you go pick it up at your clerk's
counterintuitive
office, and then you can vote. And that's their version of.
So Gordy and I voted last Friday. But if you're inspired by Senator Booker, if you're inspired in Florida, if you're inspired in Wisconsin, and think, you know what, I'm going to tell those sons of guns what I think of what they're doing to our country. Good time to do it. And go.
He's
get
still
after
going. Senator, I just took up the feed again on C-SPAN, and he's back talking again. So he's still going.
Thank you, Senator Booker.
Wow. Okay, so if you haven't heard our interviews with Ben Wickler, the chair of the Wisconsin Democratic Party, or if you didn't hear our interview with Abigail Sweats, who is the executive director of Fair Wisconsin, laying out the case for why folks should vote for Judge Susan Crawford, we have officially, here at the Gailey Show, endorsed Judge Crawford for Supreme Court judge for a variety of reasons, one of which is the continuation of democracy within the state of Wisconsin. We have seen, for example, my former state of residence, Michigan.
Yes.
They ungerrymandered their maps, and then they had a legislature that was more reflective of the people in Michigan. And that's what we want to see here in Wisconsin. Right. So they got new maps through the court. There was a compromise. I feel like Governor Evers capitulated too soon. But the maps are fair. But guess what? The Republicans didn't lose control of either chamber, but they are more reflective of the voting populace. And so we want to see this continue. We don't want this rolled back at the state level. We do not want this rolled back at the also the congressional level, because if they get the opportunity, they will try to gerrymander even further the Republican congressional maps. And so one major reason is that here at the Gailey Show, we are big proponents of democracy. We've brought on the Institute for Responsive Government, Sam Oliker-Friedland, to talk about automatic voter registration. Democracy is a really big thing for us here, and so that's one of the reasons why we endorsed Judge Susan Crawford. Another one is obviously her opponent, Judge Schimmel, wants to get rid of gay marriage. He loves all of the all of the anti-trans legislation that is going through the Wisconsin legislature.
He's anti-abortion.
He is anti-abortion. His record as attorney general, not so hot when it comes to dealing with criminal sexual violence cases.
Called the worst attorney general in Wisconsin history by some people.
Okay. Can you say who?
It was in a press report, and they were saying, is he the worst? It was more of a question. I'll put it that way. They were saying, is he the worst attorney general ever in Wisconsin's history? And then the article went on to give some other examples of terrible. So let's say he's among the worst attorney generals of the state of Wisconsin.
Those are the reasons why we have endorsed Judge Susan Crawford.
Right.
And it is really important that folks get out today, they get out and vote. Again, you can get to your polling location by 8 p.m. So long as you're in line by 8 p.m., you have the right to vote. You can go to myvote.wi.gov to find out where your polling location is. And you can also pull up who is going to be on your ballot. And I want to bring that up because there are other races happening in addition to the Supreme Court race. So there is the state superintendent. We have endorsed Dr. Jill Underly, largely because of Dr. Underly's wanting to have inclusive environments of LGBTQ students in Wisconsin. That is one of the major reasons why we wanted to do that. And again, for folks who are listening, Jim is a resident of Wisconsin, and we spend half of our weeks in Wisconsin. So, even though we're based out of Minneapolis for the show, we are bi-statal.
That's what I always call it.
We're bi-statal. We spend half of our time equally between Minnesota and Wisconsin. So we clearly have a stake here in the races happening today. And it is the most expensive, actually coming back to the Supreme Court race, the most expensive, over $80 million spent on this race.
Right.
Elon Musk handing out $1 million checks to voters, bribing them. Which is so very clearly bribery. So we're very disappointed that both the county level judge and the Wisconsin Supreme Court refused to get involved in the case. They just said, we're not going to hear the case, which was very disturbing that we're just going to allow this to happen. There
isn't a Republican that doesn't know that's gross.
Well, it's just
if you get them to be honest about it. It's gross.
We shouldn't have people offering $1 million checks on either side. If there was a Democratic, if Mike Bloomberg was standing in Milwaukee saying, I'm going to hand out $1 million checks, we would be sitting here, you and I right now, going, no, Mayor Bloomberg, you're not handing out $1 million checks.
How any of this works.
That's not how democracy is supposed to function. But we also there are a number of races, Jim, that you were looking at of down ballot folks. Real quick. Speaking of down ballot,
proposition,
we'll bring this up. We're going to fit in a break here, but we're going to keep talking about the election because it is very super important. But there's a constitutional amendment asking for photographic ID to be put into the Constitution of Wisconsin. We are endorsing that folks do not vote for that.
Vote no.
For a number of reasons, one of which is just the practicality of it. Right. In the event that Wisconsin on either side of the aisle wants to amend or update their voting policies, to have a constitutional amendment to try to get around is ridiculous.
And that's why they're doing it. They feel the state slipping away from them.
Well, but there's already a lot of strict voter ID around.
It's ridiculous in that state.
We're going to come back and talk a little bit more about the down ballot races for folks to know about. It is election day in Wisconsin. We want you to get out to the polls and vote. More on The Gailey Show after this break.
Hi, I'm Peter Solak.
And I'm Adam Ostrowski.
We are here at Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces to talk about the joy of live fire cooking. Cooking over a live fire is the oldest and most basic form of cooking.
What's new is in the way fire is handled and its heat is managed.
It's easier to experience and enjoy the smell and taste of food cooked over a live fire.
Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces sells and installs live fire grills, fire pits, and ovens. Let us help you experience the smell, the taste, the fun of cooking with fire.
Pizza was first made and is still best made in an open fire oven. The radiant and conductive heat of a live fire is unmatched for wood roasting and baking artisan breads too.
Come see the many ways you can cook over a live fire.
Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces has over 35 working wood and gas units on display at the corner of East Franklin and Riverside Avenue in Minneapolis. More information at woodlandstoves.com. Find the fire that works for you. Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces, out of the ordinary products and services since 1977.
Turn to Auto Technical with your vehicle donation. Even though Auto Technical is a small nonprofit, we have helped more families with transportation than any organization in Minnesota. Since '94, we have reconditioned donated vehicles so they have a higher tax benefit. Call Richard at 612-919-5526, 612-919-5526, or autotech.org.
In a galaxy not so far away, the battle for truth rages on. Smart Wars is a solo exhibition by Rory Wakeup, a Minnesota Chippewa artist who flips the script on Star Wars using humor and regalia. Wakeup challenges colonial narratives and reclaims indigenous values of balance, resilience, and environmental activism. This exhibition runs February 27th through April 5th at All My Relations Arts in Minneapolis. More information at allmyrelationsarts.org.
Hi, I'm Rachel Shamblat. My dad is Dr. Scott Shamblat from Shamblat Family Dentistry. A lot of people are afraid of the dentist, but you don't have to be. My dad makes going to the dentist comfortable and even fun. He won't be mad if you haven't seen a dentist in a long time. He just wants to take care of you and your teeth. If you don't see my dad, please see another dentist. Take care of your teeth because they're the only ones you get.
Shamblat Family Dentistry in Hopkins and St. Paul. Find them online at shamblatfamilydentistry.com or call 1-800-FIX-MY-TEETH.
Uptown used to be thriving. Now, too many businesses have closed and people don't feel safe. I'm Lydia Millard, a lifelong Minneapolis resident and a working person who understands that city services must work for the people. I'll tackle crime, create real housing solutions, and bring new life to our business corridors. Let's move forward with new Ward 10 leadership. Caucus for me on April 8th at 7 p.m. More at LydiaMillardWard10.com.
Prepared and paid for by the campaign fund of Lydia Millard, Ward 10.
Welcome back to the Gailey Show. I am your host, John Parker. It is 21 minutes past the hour. Our call-in number, 952-946-6205, 952-946-6205. If you are listening and in Wisconsin and you voted already, how was your experience? You can call in and tell us. You can tell us about your voting experience. If you haven't voted yet, what is your plan for voting? If you want to talk about the election in general, you want to talk about Elon Musk trying to bribe everybody, or also trying to just, purchase the court. He has a case. His company has a case. And so that's why he's going all in on trying to, swing the election in his favor. He doesn't care about Wisconsin. No. He just doesn't want that case to get to the Supreme Court.
Right.
So you can call us with your thoughts on what's happening today on Election Day in Wisconsin, 952-946-6205, 952-946-6205. There are down ballot races. Jim, you want to talk about those?
I just want to warn folks. I know this is a lot of Wisconsin. I apologize. I want to warn folks when you're voting for school board and county executive, Moms for Liberty, which is an organization that I detest, has placed at least 8 different people into local races for school board or county executive. And the unfortunate thing is I can't tell you who else to vote for, but I can tell you the people not to vote for. And it's in a variety of communities. The plants or the moles from Moms for Liberty are Laura Strobel in Cedarsburg, Tina Effering in Bristol, Samantha Fisher in Cambridge, Aaron Gerlach in Hudson, ex-urban community of the Twin Cities, Jill Wiederoff from Plattsville, Braden Meyer from Manitowoc, Eric Meadows from Kenosha, Jeff Moyer from Germantown, Joy Buchanan from La Crosse. Now, Joy Buchanan sued the city of La Crosse because she wanted to be able to conduct conversion therapy. She felt her rights were being violated because she couldn't torture children.
It's not a question of just detesting Moms for Liberty.
Right.
We do not endorse their candidates because they are vehemently anti-LGBTQ, not just banning books, but also policies that are detrimental and harm LGBTQ kids.
Right.
And also even in terms of like vaccinations, like they're not big on vaccinations, and we don't want measles outbreaks in our schools. So that is why we do not endorse Moms
So in those
for Liberty.
communities, I'd find an alternative or not vote for those people. Because sometimes we see a name, we think, I don't know who that is. So be very careful in Wisconsin. They've been up to a lot of bad business there.
You can go to their website, the myvote.wi.gov, to look up where your polling location is, to find out who is on your ballot, to see if there is a Moms for Liberty candidate on there, and to vote for their...
I don't think they're making it obvious. I think they're literally not saying that. I think if you know Kirk Bangstead, he has done some reconnoitering, as it were, and is alerting people that these people who look like very average Wisconsinites, when you see their pictures, have been recruited by Moms for Liberty.
This is
or endorsed Moms for Liberty. That's what I should say.
This is the...
We're in dangerous times.
I know, but this is the part of democracy that is frustrating about the MAGA movement right now. Is I am exhausted watching all these videos of Republicans saying, I didn't vote for this. And there is a little bit of their candidates lying to them and saying, we're going to do, we're going to do this, and then completely flipping and doing something completely different than what they said. But they also are very clearly telling us what they're going to do. Yes. And so I am a little skeptical of this argument of, well, we didn't know that they're going to do this yet. We know who Moms for Liberty is as an organization. They're pretty explicit about what they want to do. We know what MAGA wants to do to the country. And so I'm a little exhausted of hearing folks say, this isn't what I voted for, because the rest of us who voted for Harrison Walz very clearly knew that that's not what we knew what he was going to do with Project 2025, and we said, no, we're not going to do that.
But if somebody claims ignorance, they're responsible. To be an ignorant voter is an irresponsibility. That's not what we're supposed to be doing.
Well, ideally. I do want to get to a more upbeat story out of Nebraska. So this is going to be a news package that we're going to play here. On April 5th in Lincoln, OutNebraska will have their annual Classy-Tacky Ball. I love that name for a ball. Mark Moran with Public News Service is going to bring us that story.
The organization OutNebraska's is holding an event not only to raise money for LGBTQ plus issues, but to help people better understand those issues and their importance in the community. The Classy-Tacky Ball is as much a friend raiser as a fundraiser. OutNebraska focuses on advocacy, education, and celebration. Executive Director Abby Swatsworth says the group sees the event as a chance to help community members be better allies for LGBTQ plus people and teach them how to be civically engaged.
Whether that is through, volunteering for boards or commissions, voting in elections, how to contact your policymakers, how to talk to your local school board, those sorts of things.
The event is scheduled for April 5th in Lincoln. Swatsworth adds efforts also include speaking up where LGBTQ plus voices typically haven't been heard, and says there are plenty of ways for people to get involved.
And that might look like phone banking, or helping to recruit other volunteers, or helping community members connect with their elected officials.
For those who may not be comfortable reaching out or being in public, Swatsworth says OutNebraska also needs people to do data entry, tidy up the office, and help staff the Pride event scheduled statewide this summer. I'm Mark Moran for Nebraska News Connection. Find our trust indicators at publicnewsservice.org.
Thank you to Pride News Service, Public News Service for that reporting. They have some really excellent journalism that they do. If you haven't checked out their trust indicators, I love how explicit they are. As a former, in the field, broadcasting person, that I love how they are very clearly laying out why you can trust their journalism. So thank you for that.
Mark was working his copy very hard. LGBTQ.
Oh.
He had to really slow down.
If you rush through
I
it,
know
the acronym.
I did it the other day.
This
I
is,
left out a couple of letters.
LGBTQ sounds very French. Okay, well, that's, good news, good organizing happening out of Nebraska. Fun news out of Utah. The Sundance Film Festival has said no more, Utah, and they are packing up their bags. Well, not yet, actually, but they are leaving Utah. They are going to be moving the film festival to Boulder, Colorado. There will be one final edition of the Sundance Film Festival in Utah in 2026. Now, they did not make the decision. Like, there wasn't the bill that was signed by the governor, banning, pride flags from being, put up in government buildings, and then said, okay, well, we're out of here. They had been going through that for a while. The organizers said that the festival, we had realized the festival had outgrown Park City. This is from Pink News. Oh my gosh, we're at a break. Wow. Okay. Well, we're going to take a break here. More on The Gailey Show after this.
Hey, Minnesota, it's Brad Friedman, host of the Bradcast. We'll expose all the latest schemes, frauds, and more. Weeknights at 7 on AM 950.
Are you experiencing troubles with thinking, comprehending, or speaking, have post-COVID brain fog, ADHD, concussion, tremors from Parkinson's, mental health issues, or simply striving to maximize your brain's potential? At Hypercharge Wellness Centers, we deliver transformative results for the brain. Hypercharge Wellness's brain fitness protocol utilizes cutting-edge modalities, including PEMF, red light therapy beds, and transcranial laser, which all work together to improve focus and cognitive functions. These treatments aim to improve the brain's blood flow and electrical patterns, which reduces anxiety and enhances relaxation, providing a comprehensive approach to brain health optimization. All are invited to experience this life-changing journey towards achieving the pinnacle of cognitive and emotional well-being. Call or go online to schedule your free Hypercharge Wellness introductory session valued at $200 today. This is your opportunity to feel the difference for yourself. No matter where you are in the Twin Cities, there is a convenient location near you. Visit hyperchargeclinic.com now. That's hyperchargeclinic.com. Hypercharge is hope.
Live and share mental health with Becoming Together Therapy and Wellness. Hello, everyone. We are Becky McNatten and Tara Martini, hosts of Feels Out Loud, a show dedicated to expanding the paradigm of mental health.
Tune in to develop both personal and relational insight, language on emotions, and daily life application.
Join us weekly as we explore topics connected to mental wellness. Each Sunday at 9 a.m. here on AM 950, be a part of our mission to connect this world more authentically and fully with one another.
When was the last time you had your roof inspected for extreme weather and hail damage? This is Chad, owner of AM 950, to talk about the exterior construction company I trust, Snap Construction. If you've noticed new roofing projects in your neighborhood, your home was likely hit by hail last summer and experienced damage. Snap Construction is helping homeowners like you, and they're the roofing specialists I trust. They are the most well-reviewed contractor in the Twin Cities and have a ton of positive customer reviews from homeowners just like you. Even better, Snap Construction's installations are backed by a lifetime warranty, so you know you're dealing with a qualified roofing expert. You want to work with a company that will be here for a long time after the work is done. Snap Construction has handled thousands of claims and will help you through the process. Do yourself a favor and get a free roofing inspection so you have the facts and peace of mind you deserve. Call Snap Construction today at 612-333-SNAP. That's 612-333-SNAP, or visit snapconstruction.com.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Brett Johnson. Look for rain and sleet throughout today with a high near 40. Tonight, rain and snow with a low around 33. And Wednesday, rain with a high around 49. Experience a great atmosphere with great music at Crooner's Supper Club. Explore the shows at croonersmn.com. Stop by Maggie's Lounge before or after your show for cocktails and light fare. Open Wednesdays through Sundays at 4:30. No tickets needed. Again, that's Maggie's Lounge at Crooner's Supper Club. AM 950 KTNF, St. Louis Park, Minneapolis, St. Paul.
Broadcasting live from the studios of AM 950 KTNF, the progressive voice of Minnesota, and streaming live right now on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/@thegailyshow. Welcome back to The Gailey Show. It is 33 minutes past the hour. I'm your host, John Parker. In studio with me, executive producer Jim Pounds, talking before the break about how Sundance Film Festival is pulling out of Utah. They've been saying they've outgrown Park City, and they are looking to move. They're going to be moving to Boulder, Colorado, which organizers are saying, according to Pink News, is a welcoming environment that aligns with our ethos. And that Boulder is a tech town, a college town, an arts town, and it's a mountain town. So they are looking to be in a larger town that gives them the space to expand. The governor of Utah tried to get Sundance to stay, wanted to have $3 million extra as an incentive. The legislature in Utah upped it to $3.5 million, but they said, nah, the film festival, we're good, we're moving. So now they said that they are going to create their own film festival. We're going to build a world-class film economy right here in Utah. Seriously? Good luck with that. I can't even imagine who at this point is going to want to come to Utah when there are so many different options for you available across the United States. So good luck with your film festival, Utah. I really look forward to what you think is a world-class film festival. And maybe just some films from Dinesh D'Souza, some controversial fake films, fake facts, all that fun stuff. Yeah. Anyway, all right. This is a story that came out of the Financial Times, and it was a profile on Senator Fetterman, who has decided that with everything going on with MAGA, he wants to warn America about, quote, extreme progressives who are alienating Americans. I thought the headline was maybe a fake headline. Like, are you kidding me right now? With everything that's going on, you want to talk about the quote unquote extreme voices of the progressive wing? And as I was getting into the story, this is a quote, direct quote from Senator Fetterman to the Financial Times. We had an extreme reaction to the debate. The debate being the one where President Biden looked like he was, basically going to fall off the stage. He said, we had an extreme reaction to the debate, and that pushed us into a direction. Progressives got what they wanted. They wanted a brand new, younger, fresher messenger and a lady. And then, of course, you know what happened. Are you kidding me? Like, are you kidding me with this? First of all, I just want to point out Vice President Kamala Harris did better, outperformed Joe Biden in 4 swing states: Nevada, Wisconsin, North Carolina, and Georgia. Outperformed Biden by 75,000 votes in Georgia, 30,000 votes each in Wisconsin and North Carolina. But also, what is that? The progressives got what they want. They wanted a brand new, younger, fresher messenger and a lady.
Well,
are you kidding me right now?
Isn't that touching on, and you and I have talked about this, I don't want to think that this country isn't capable of electing a woman president, but I do believe it's a fair question. I don't like the way he stated it. It sounds like the progressives wanted it. We should all want a woman president, frankly. John, you're smarter than that. But, and I'm not talking to my John, I'm talking about Senator Fetterman. But there is a question in my mind about whether this country, whether there's enough misogyny in the Democratic Party or racism or whatever that kept 7 million people home, because that did happen. And we sure could have used those 7 million votes in certain states. We would have won. I don't know if we would have won the election, but we very well might have. So something kept people home. And I think he could have said that in a way that sounded more reasonable than the progressives got a lady, which is, that sounds a little ignorant, but he's, that's his thing, Joe Lunchbucket. That's who he's trying to pretend to be. So, or that's who he is. So he talks like that. But that's a little rough around the edges, I would say. He's not wrong that I'm going to be uncomfortable with a woman nominee, not because I don't think a woman should have been president a long time ago, but because I don't think the people out in this country seem to have the imagination for it, and it's tragic.
But with everything going on right now, the progressives are the ones that are alienating, and the idea that his evidence for the alienating agenda is that we wanted a lady candidate.
I don't think progressives care about that. What we wanted, you and I are both progressives, we wanted Bernie Sanders, who is neither a lady nor a black person, or we wanted Senator Warren from Massachusetts, who is a lady, I guess. But what we care about are policies, not who's carrying the message. So that is a kind of short-sighted comment on his part. I think it's certainly not accurate, but he's playing to the people that want the Democratic Party to be more, quote unquote, mainstream, more corporate Democrat, which is not what's going to solve problems for working class people. That is no way there. That is Bill Clintonism all over again. And that is not going to solve the separation between the rich and the very few rich and all the rest of us struggling to survive. So that is not the answer, I don't think. But we have to get people excited about liberal points of view and not be afraid to be who we are. And so he's a naysayer. That's too bad. It'd be more intelligent for him to say, you know what? I don't think we have the guts in this country to elect a woman. And so shame on all of us. And so let's elect somebody that can get elected. I guess that would have been my suggestion.
He says that obstructing in the same article, obstructing Republicans would be a political loser. And that the last time, here, again, direct quote, the last time we were yelling and screaming and demanding new leadership, how did it work out? Maybe we should just realize where we are and try to figure out a way forward rather than just reacting. Again, saying that we should have kept Biden and that putting Kamala Harris in there was a mistake. Now, here's the thing about that, though. Progressives were upset. I was one of them. I still contend that the mess that we are in is President Biden's fault because he should have honored his pledge. He should have stepped down. He said in 2020 he would be a one-term president. He should have stepped down. We should have had a primary. The strongest candidate would have come forward, and we would not be in this position right now.
Whoever it was. Yep.
All right. But it was the centrists who saw that debate performance and went, oh, we're screwed.
Right. Like Nancy Pelosi.
It was the centrists. It was not the progressives that sat there. We were already kind of worried. But I would also like to point out, Senator Fetterman, that it was Bernie Sanders and AOC that were saying, no, maybe we should stick with Biden. Okay, they were some of the most vocal people, particularly AOC was one of the most vocal people for keeping Biden on the ticket.
Yeah.
It was when the centrist Democratic donors said absolutely not. It was when Nancy Pelosi went in and showed him polling numbers and said, we are losing centrist Democratic voters all of a sudden after your debate performance.
Right.
That's when President Biden decided to make the choice here. So the idea that it was all of our fault that Biden dropped out is ridiculous. And now he's finding it very hard to defend his vote for this Republican budget and is really upset that Senator Sanders and Representative AOC are out on the trail getting 30,000 people to come out to their rallies saying, we need to stop Trump. We need to fight this. It's absolutely bonkers. When you look at Project 2025, when you look at everything they're doing right now to dismantle the federal government, and he's saying we should work across the aisle with them. How about working across the aisle with progressives? And this gets into my constant critique about the Democratic Party is what does it mean that we are a big tent? What does that even mean anymore? Because if we are just coming in here, I'm talking to the queer community. If we are just coming in there and we are saying, well, we want X, Y, and Z for the queer community, we don't care about immigration, We don't care about the economy. We don't care about these other things. We are just in this tent right now for our own self-interest, and then we're going to leave. That is not a coalition. That is not a coalition. And so we need to, they have on their side of the aisle, they know what they want. There is a movement there. There's the Project 2025 movement, the MAGA movement. It was all out there. I am over listening to people saying, oh, I didn't know what they were for. They lied to me. This isn't what I voted for. Please. I'm sorry. All the information was there for you to know that this is what they were going to do. Mm-hmm. And stop, period. But on our side of the aisle, if he is more willing to say, I'm going to work with the extremist people that are trying to tear down the government, MAGA, as opposed to saying, I, as the senator from Pennsylvania, want to find ways of working across with progressives, that would be great. Yeah. Let's have that conversation. We had that conversation with the Inflation Reduction Act. You know, the conversations that we were having between Senator Sanders, the progressive wing, and the centrists when Biden was office on those big signature things, that was the conversation we should have been having. And we need to continue to be having. And that's where I get so frustrated as a queer person, because I sit there and I go, all right, am I supposed to be part of this tent? Should I be in this tent? Am I alienating America for being a queer progressive? This is what gets me really, really frustrated when I read these articles. And it's like, why are progressives at this point in time being blamed for alienated Americans when we see Elon Musk destroying the entire federal government right now? Why are you coming for progressives?
Yeah, I don't really see. It's an odd thing now to talk about working with the Republicans. I think the Republicans have expressed their hatred of most things American, frankly. Like, let's talk about veterans, who the Republicans always wrap themselves in that flag. And this bozo from South Africa is getting rid of 80,000 people from the Veterans
They want to cut
Affairs
Medicaid.
Administration. Yeah.
They want to cut Medicaid.
Tell people what that means, though. That's important. Medicaid means that your grandma that's in the convalescent hospital that is being paid for by Medicaid, they're going to take that away, and she's going to come to your house.
Red counties
and live in
is
your
one of
house.
the main ways in rural parts of this country that health insurance is provided. He wants to cut. So if he wants to sit there and be of the working class and the working man and say, how do you work with MAGA on that?
Right. You don't.
How do you work with MAGA when they want to cut Medicaid?
You can't. They've made themselves an enemy of the country, as far as I'm concerned, of all the decency in the country. And so you can't align with them. There's nobody there worth name one person you would want to sit down in a meeting with.
If Senator Fetterman wants to sit there and say, you know, we need to connect with the American voter, what does that mean exactly? And if you're saying that having a brand new, younger, fresher messenger and a lady isn't what the American people wanted, what exactly are you saying right now? Just stand back and hear what you're saying right now.
Yeah. A little coded, it sounds like. I'll bet Mrs. Fetterman had something to say about that afterwards, because she's nobody's fool.
It's so bonkers to me. And this is the thing, is that what does this big tent mean? How are we coming together? What is the governing coalition? How do we show America that we have a coalition of all of the different viewpoints and interests on the left, and we're able to come together with a unified, coherent vision, as opposed to this constant stabbing in the back of people who are or throwing us under the bus. The very idea that you're throwing trans people under the bus and blaming the queer community for, we went too far on trans issues. The Democratic Party didn't do anything on trans issues. Let's be honest here. They did a few things that were really good, but trans issues and queer issues are not the fundamental stance plank of the Democratic platform. It is of the Republicans, but we're the ones that are getting blamed for, we went too far on LGBTQ voters and all the trans stuff, and that's why we're not winning in these rural counties. Okay, I got it out of my system. I got it out of my system. Probably not, but anyway, there is more to come here on The Gailey Show. We're going to talk about a new limited series on this queer book, Save My Life, that just launched today. We're going to have some more positive vibes as we close out the show today.
Crooners is a classic supper club with a wide range of entertainment. Make your reservations for a parade of international, national, and local artists in the main stage showroom, the intimate Dunsmore Jazz Room, or outdoors at the seasonal Belvedere Under the Stars space. Or enjoy Maggie's Piano Lounge. Enjoy 4-star food and drinks with first-class supper club service. What are you waiting for? Go to croonersmn.com for more information and schedule. That's croonersmn.com.
You've heard of caucuses, but do you know why they matter? In Minneapolis, over the last 10 years, the candidate who wins the DFL endorsement has gone on to win over 90% of the time in November. It all starts at the caucus, and you can be a part of it. The problem? Most people don't show up. In fact, only 2% of registered voters usually participate in the Minneapolis City Caucus. That means a small group of people end up making decisions for the rest of us. If you care about safety, affordability, and the future of our city, showing up at your caucus is the most important thing you can do. Caucuses aren't complicated, and you don't need to be an expert in politics to take part. You just need to show up, ready to help decide who will lead our city in the future. Whether your most important issue is public safety, housing, affordability, or creating a city that provides opportunity for everyone, it all starts at the caucuses. Visit WeLoveMPLS.org to learn how caucuses work and why your voice matters.
Paid for by We Love Minneapolis, not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee.
Is your remote workforce putting your company at risk? Cyber criminals are targeting your employees with COVID-19 inspired emails and attacking businesses like yours. Hi, Mark Sommerfeld from Rymark. Rymark has the tools and expertise to enable your employees to work securely from home. If you need help getting your staff to work remotely and securely, call 651-328-8900 or go to rymarkit.com. That's 651-328-8900 or rymarkit.com.
End-of-life decisions are not easy to make. Hi, I'm Mary T. of Mary T. Hospice Care. It's important to make sure that this difficult time is meaningful and comforting to you and your loved ones. Our hospice team provides an individualized program of physical, emotional, spiritual, and practical care so your loved one is comfortable and not in pain. At Mary T. Hospice, we understand that choosing the right hospice care provider can be overwhelming, but we're here to assist you. Learn more today at marytinc.com.
I believe in Minneapolis where everyone, longtime residents, and new arrivals feel safe, supported, and seen. That means tackling homelessness with real resources, investing in community safety, and advocating for local businesses. I'm Marcus Jones, a Minneapolis firefighter and a father. I'm not here to play politics. I'm here to deliver for Ward 9. Visit marcusjones.com to join my campaign and learn more about attending your local caucus on April 8th.
This advertisement was paid for by Marcus Jones, candidate for Ward 9 of Minneapolis City Council.
Welcome back to the Gaily Show. I am your host, John Parker. Jim Pounds, executive producer of the show, in studio with me right now. Guess who's still going like the Energizer Bunny? Senator Booker still going on his speech right now. And I think he'll be coming up on 21 hours here at the top of the hour. And I hope that 21 hours, if he keeps going into 22, he will surpass Senator Cruz. So we hope that he keeps it going and is able to have that stamina. I can't, after 3 hours of standing up, I just want to sit down and go to bed. So this is really, really incredible. I'll be curious afterwards to hear about the prep that went into being able to stay awake for 24. I mean, let alone just staying awake for 24 hours. And that's just, wow. But today, on This Career Book Saved My Life, we launched a unique limited series. So it's going to start today. It's going to run through June. We wanted to uplift LGBTQ bookstores. So typically on the show, when we have a guest come on, it's just anyone from the community who has a book that had a queer book that had a life-saving impact for them. This series, however, are guests who are only owners or managers, staff of LGBTQ bookstores. So it starts today. We have the owner, Casey Holland, of Wayfaring Booksellers in Lansing, Michigan. Casey is sharing with us the book that saved her life, which was Mostly Dead Things by Kristen Arnett. and Kristen joins us for the conversation. So you can check that out at thisqueerbook.com, or you can go to everywhere that you get your podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, etc., and you can find it there. Follow the series rather there. And here, what are the books, or bookstores rather? So Wayfaring Booksellers, Left Bank Books in Missouri, A Seat at the Table Books in California, Wolf and Wild's Queer Bookstore in Colorado, Firestorm Bookstore in North Carolina, and Lighthouse Bookshop in Edinburgh, Scotland.
Wow.
So very excited. 5 across the country and a 6th one in Scotland. And we actually have a potential additional add to the collection. Stay tuned, more details on that. The author's really happy, though, for all of the books where the authors were still alive. They all agreed to join us for this special limited series. So those authors are today's Kristen Arnett, but also if you know Daniel M. Lavery, Paula Bach, Martha Wells, and Samantha Shannon, they will also be joining us for episodes talking about their respective books throughout the series as well. So we're very grateful to all of the bookstores for participating. We're very grateful to all the authors for participating and the guests. So we really want to be uplifting all of these bookstores because, yes, supporting queer books is very important right now, but also supporting LGBTQ businesses who are selling those books is also equally important, as we are seeing books being banned and the erasure of queer people from life, public life, as much as they're trying to do MAGA right now and get away with.
Well, and I always encourage allies and, people that have LGBTQ relatives or friends or coworkers or whatever, you can go. I love all 70 of the episodes of that show that we've created, to be honest with you. And you can go into the website and go through the full list, and you will find a remarkable collection of our community, from all kinds of different vantage points. And we tend to all think that all gay men are like us, or, that sort of bias. And when you start to go back and listen to some of these stories, very personal stories, you realize, wow, we have some things in common, but we really are a unique sort of vantage point in humanity. So I find it a great sociology exercise. And so if you get drawn to one, do me a favor and listen to a second one and see what you think.
Well, and it's a much more chill environment on this Queer Book Save My Life than it is here. Here I can get kind of hot and ranty and spicy on the Gailey Show, but we liked it to be sort of chill. They're in-depth conversations about queer life, but also, the books that we're talking about as well. And it's really special, I think, right now that we get to have a conversation with the guest, the author of the book, and then immediately after the episode, you can go to that guest's bookstore and buy that particular book. And I think that's fantastic. So if you haven't checked out, for folks who are listening right now in Michigan, Lansing, Michigan, specifically, Wayfaring Bookstore, it looks like a delight. I wish that I could go and check it out. It is a queer woman-owned bookstore. They are located in Lansing. Their mission is to celebrate and amplify queer books and stories while uplifting the queer community. So it's not just LGBTQ books that they have there. And their location, I want to see there. They are in REO Town Marketplace. So REO Town Marketplace in Lansing. Really excellent story there that they actually started as part of the Jolly Holiday Market, sort of like a pop-up version, before they opened their permanent spot in January of 2022. So also following a trend happening in the industry of independent bookstores really having a moment right now and lasting more so than people would have expected after COVID. And so I really hopeful that folks can get out and support these various bookstores that we have in this very special limited series. Also happy that Lambda Literary is, excuse me, going to help out and as a media sponsor for the series. And for folks who don't know, Lambda Literary is the country's only national LGBTQ literary organization. And so we are very proud to have them supporting us as well. And the special limited series starts today and runs through June.
Do I know somebody who's a Lambda Literary Fellow?
You do. It's me.
Okay.
I was in 2022.
I see.
But again, you can check that out, thisqueerbook.com or podfollow.com/thisqueerbook. Look at Senator Booker still going. Oh, that's fantastic.
Go, Corey.
Anyhow, coming up next is the Matt McNeil Show. After that, stay tuned for Native Roots Radio. And until tomorrow, when we're back here live, keep it queer, America.
Keep it queer, Corey.